Welcome to the PastGlimpse Photos channel.
Subscribe to the channel and like the video. Swimmers at a Las Vegas hotel pool watched the cloud from a nuclear blast at a test site 120 kilometers away, 1953. This is Las Vegas in 1906. No lights or casinos, just a few houses, a laundromat, and a train station in the middle of the desert. Back then, it was a small settlement, surviving thanks to the road. Today, it's hard to believe that this is where a global entertainment center grew up. This photo shows the beginning of a legend. A traveling photographer, Ohio, 1938. His camera gave people what they didn't have: memory captured on paper. A time when photography was a true miracle. Gentlemen with their cameras, 1900s. Perfectly tailored suits, hats, and photographic equipment of unimaginable size by today's standards. A century ago, the image of a photographer was very different from today. These images from the past show what photography looked like in the early 20th century. The photograph seems frozen in time. A lonely woman on the wall, a newspaper in her hands, is a huge window onto the wider world. Behind her, a gray facade and laundry in the wind. This is a shot about survival, about people who have endured hardships but never lost their zest for life. It seems the street itself preserves their story, quiet, yet infinitely important. This is an old photograph from late 19th century China. It shows a newlywed couple in traditional wedding attire. Behind them are the characters for double happiness, which symbolize a fortunate marriage. This photo is a window into the past, offering a glimpse of a Chinese wedding ceremony from that era. This comical photograph, taken in 1897, transports us to the Canadian hinterland. It depicts a hilarious moment, men colliding on bicycles and becoming entangled in their carriages. In the background, three women appear to be barely holding back their laughter. The image demonstrates that people still found themselves in awkward situations over 100 years ago, and that a sense of humor has always remained unchanged. This unique photo from 1889 captures one of the traditional cowboy dances. On a ranch, in the middle of a dusty clearing, men in hats and work clothes have gathered. Two of them, in the center, seem engrossed in the dance, while the others watch with interest. This snapshot is more than just a documentary shot. It shows how people found joy and entertainment even in the harshest conditions, and how simple dances became a part of their daily lives and culture. This photo shows the world's largest camera in 1900. She was named Mammoth. It was built specifically for filming the Chicago Alton train and required an entire team to work on. In the picture, you can see how people dressed in turn-of-the-century fashion control this camera. This frame is not just a technical curiosity, but a symbol of an era when photography was a real miracle, and each picture required enormous effort. This historic and shocking photo shows a Buddhist monk named Thit Quang Duc, who commits an act of self-immolation on a street in Saigon, now Ho Chi Minh City, in 1963. It was an act of protest against the persecution of Buddhists by the government of South Vietnam. There are other monks around him who have created a kind of barrier so that the police cannot interfere with him. The car he arrived in is visible in the background. There is a canister of gasoline next to it. The photo made a huge impression on the world community and drew attention to the events in Vietnam. This world-famous historical photo shows a group of people, including women, men, and children, being led out of their homes with their hands up. The picture was taken in 1943 during the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. In the center of attention is a little boy in a cap and coat, who stands with his hands raised in a gesture of surrender. Armed German soldiers can be seen in the background. This frame has become one of the most powerful and recognizable symbols of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the civilian population during the Second World War. This photo, taken in 1908 by the famous photographer Louis Hine, shows the harsh realities of that era. Here, at a cotton mill, surrounded by huge machines, stands a worker whose small stature highlights the scale of the machines. Hine took such pictures to draw public attention to the working conditions in factories. This frame is not just a portrait, but a powerful testimony to how hard work has affected people's lives. This world-famous historical photo shows a group of people, including women, men, and children, being led out of their homes with their hands up. The picture was taken in 1943 during the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. In the center of attention is a little boy in a cap and coat who stands with his hands raised in a gesture of surrender. Armed German soldiers can be seen in the background. This frame has become one of the most powerful and recognizable symbols of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the civilian population during the Second World War. This famous photo captures the disaster of the German airship Hindenburg. The picture was taken on May 6, 1937, at the naval base in Lakehurst, New Jersey, USA. The airship, one of the largest in the world, suddenly caught fire and crashed during landing. The photo shows a huge column of smoke and flames engulfing the tail section. This disaster, which claimed the lives of 35 people, marked the end of the era of passenger transportation on airships. This photo shows a rocky landscape dotted with cannonballs. The picture is known as the Valley of the Shadows of Death and was taken during the Crimean War, 1853 to 1856, by English photographer Roger Fenton. The photo shows the aftermath of the battle and was one of the first images to capture the horrors of war. This world-famous and tragic photo shows a baby sitting in the ruins of the destroyed South Station in Shanghai. The picture was taken on August 28, 1937, during a bombing raid by Japanese forces. This photograph, known as Bloody Saturday, became a symbol of the brutality of the Second Sino-Japanese War and drew the attention of the world community to the tragedy taking place in China. This photo, taken in the 19th century, shows Cathedral Rock in Yosemite National Park, California. The picture was probably taken by the famous American photographer Carlton Watkins, one of the pioneers of landscape photography. The photograph is made in sepia tone, which gives it a historical look and demonstrates the grandeur of the natural landscape, which has inspired many artists and photographers. This iconic photo was taken in 1936 during the construction of the Fort Peck Dam in the USA. Photographer Margaret Burke White captured this colossal project, symbolizing engineering progress. This image became so powerful that it graced the cover of the first issue of Life magazine, becoming a symbol of large-scale projects and hope in the era of the Great Depression. This is not just a photograph, but a symbol of human perseverance and the will to create. This iconic photo, taken in 1907 by the famous American photographer Alfred Stieglitz, was named Kubrick. The picture shows passengers returning to Europe. Stieglitz focuses on contrast. On the upper deck, in the light, there are well-off passengers, and below, in cramped conditions, there are people from the lower class. The photographer noted that he was attracted not so much by social inequality as by the geometric composition, the lines of stairs, the tilts of hats and silhouettes of people. Kubrick is considered one of the key images in the history of photography, as it symbolizes not only social drama, but also the search for new forms of artistic expression. This photo shows a nuclear mushroom that formed after the atomic bomb was dropped on the Japanese city of Nagasaki on August 9, 1945. This photograph has become one of the most recognizable symbols of the end of World War II and the beginning of the atomic era, embodying the colossal destructive power of nuclear weapons. This tragic and world-famous photo was taken in 1975 in Boston by photographer Stanley Foreman. It captures the moment when the fire escape collapsed during a fire. The picture, which shows people falling, won the Pulitzer Prize and attracted widespread public attention to the need to improve building codes and fire safety regulations. This historical photograph from 1888, taken by the pioneer of documentary photography, Jacob Riis, is called The Gang Camp at 59.5 Mulberry Street. The photo captures a cramped and gloomy alley in New York, where people live in cramped conditions. Men are visible on it, and ropes with drying clothes are stretched over their heads. Riis's work like this shocked American society and served as a catalyst for social reforms aimed at improving life in urban slums. This photo, which is often mistakenly referred to as the Japanese warrior woman, actually depicts a resident of the Philippines. This is a studio portrait taken in the 19th century. The picture shows a woman in traditional clothes holding a fan and looking away, and represents an early example of portrait photography in Southeast Asia. The picture shows the traditional costume and hairstyle of that time, and is a valuable historical document. The United States conducted a series of nuclear weapons tests in 1946 near Bikini Atoll, an operation also known as Crossroads. To test the effect of nuclear explosions on naval ships, 2 bombs were detonated. A huge column of water and steam rising from the ocean is the result of an underwater nuclear explosion. From 1887 to 1913, this telephone tower served as one of the main telephone hubs in Stockholm, Sweden. It connected about 5,000 telephone lines. Even after the tower was decommissioned in 1913, it remained an urban landmark until 1953, when it was demolished after a fire. This photo is a real historical artifact. It captured the Clown Convention held on June 15, 1925 in Paterson, New Jersey, in front of a circus wagon with the inscription Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Combined Circus, which is one of the most famous circuses in the history of the USA. March 1912, gym for first-class passengers aboard the Titanic. On the night of April 14, when the ship collided with an iceberg, the physical education instructor, Mr. T.W. Macaulay, remained at his post and went down with the ship. The photo shows the construction of the Great Fergana Canal in 1939. It was one of the largest hydraulic structures in the USSR, built in record time in just 45 days. About 160,000 collective farmers from Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, attracted by the Hashar, nationwide construction method, participated in the construction, which was carried out mainly manually. This is a famous photograph created by Soviet photojournalist Max Alpert in 1936. It is called the Kyrgyz Girl Jigitka on collective farm horse racing. The picture was taken in the Kyrgyz SSR. Photography is a vivid example of Soviet photographic art of that period, which sought to capture images of happy and energetic people building a new life. It conveys the competitive spirit and traditions of horse racing, which were very popular in Central Asia. The first Turk-Sib train, which took place in 1929. It was a historic moment that marked the connection of the northern and southern sections of the Turkestan-Siberian Railway, a grandiose infrastructure project of the Soviet Union.